Teens. I am Dr. Ruth, the world's authority on spider sexuality. And this is my program, Spiderly Speaking. It's also the title of my book, which is available wherever spider and arachnophobia memorabilia is sold. Today I will present the ins and outs of spider etiquette. What makes a spider attractive to a potential mate? And what makes an individual spider species tick? Of course, a spider cannot be mistaken for a tick, but a tick is an arachnid, just like a spider. They both have 8 legs, so that makes them, you could say, kissing cousins. Okay, let's get started. I have compiled a number of questions sent to me by the curious spider seeker who wants to know more about spiders and their sexual proclivities. So, let's begin. How did you become the world's authority on spider sexuality? Well, I have to admit, it wasn't a conscious choice. I learned at the hands of the world's authority on spiders at the time, Dr. Norman Platnick of the American Museum of Natural History, who introduced me to the bizarre world of spider genitalia and its many species-specific adaptations. I learned to illustrate these unusual apparatus for research papers on taxonomy, a newly described species. From there, I learned from the spiders themselves and their innate urge to find a mate. And I'm still learning. As new species and new behaviors are constantly being discovered. Oh, look at Spider-Man and Spider-Woman. Next question. Do spiders have penises and vaginas? Well, talk about getting to the point. Of course they do, analogously speaking, except they are called palpal bulb in the males and epigynum in the females. And the amount of variety in these organs is mind-boggling. So, let's take a closer look at these structures and see how they work. We'll start with the 2 types of female epigynum, which determines which species of male spider can mate with her. The haplogen spiders possess a single external genital opening in the upper abdomen that is unsclerotized, meaning not hardened. One or more males inject sperm from their palpal bulbs via this opening. The sperm is usually stored in special receptacles called spermatocele, which may be absent in some species. Then, when eggs are released from the ovaries, sperm is also released, and the fertilized eggs pass out of the female's body by the same opening. Sperm that enters first is likely to be the last to fertilize her eggs. But in most cases, it's the female who determines which sperm will father her progeny. In intelligent genitalia, there are 3 external openings in the female's body. Sperm is injected via one of or the other of the 2 separate copulatory openings. 1, 2. And again, it will enter the spermatocele. The egg is released from the ovaries, and fertilization occurs in the same way as in haplogen spiders, except the sperm goes up into the oviducts and meets the egg as it is coming down. In this flow-through system, sperm that enters first can be the first to fertilize her eggs. Now, the copulatory openings are usually surrounded by a hardened or sclerotized epigyne. In some spider families, there is also a projection called a scape that covers the copulatory openings. It also helps to guide the male's palpal bulb during mating and may be broken off and used as a plug to prevent other males from copulating with the female. Here we have the male palpal bulb. Entelogen males have more complex palpal bulbs than the haplogen spider males. And the bulbs expand and move by hemolytic pressure. The embolus at the tip of the palpal bulb is inserted into the female's genital opening. And in some cases, it will break off and form a plug, preventing other males from mating with her. This renders the male's palp useless for further mating, but it guarantees his sperm will safely be deposited into the female's spermaceti. The bulb holds the seminal fluid only after the male deposits a drop of semen into a small web manufactured from his own spun silk on his abdomen, and he then transfers that sperm packet into his palpal bulb by capillary action through the embolus. Then, after finding a willing mate, he injects his sperm into the female. And here we have several photos of epigynum, sclerotized epigynum, I should say, with the copulatory openings at the bottom and the male pedipalp, nicely packaged inside the tip of this appendage right here. Question 3. Why are male spiders smaller than female spiders, and does size really matter? Well, when it comes to spiders, size does indeed matter. There are a number of advantages to being smaller than the female. One advantage is that smaller males can escape the clutches of a voracious mate much easier than larger spiders. Of course, not all male spiders are smaller than the females. Equal size is more prevalent in hunting spiders than web builders. Another advantage to small size is the phenomenon of bridging. Spiders can cast strands of silk into the breeze and then use the line that connects to outer vegetation to move on to greener pastures, maybe to find some food or a mate. Bridging is much easier for smaller spiders to get around than big ones. So, spiders use their silk as a way to disperse. They can manufacture a simple parachute of silk called ballooning to carry them from one place to another. Light winds and rising thermals favor spider dispersal in this manner. When the wind currents catch the silk threads, the spider release their launching pad and off they go. Happy landing! It's not my hair. was fun. Almost makes you wish you were a spider, no? Okay. Question number 4. Are spiders attracted to each other by sight? Well, it turns out that most spiders have limited vision and can only see shadows or movement. They do have acute sensory ability when it comes to vibrations, and their webs are disturbed. Also, spider pheromones, chemical signals, accumulate along their silk, which enables suitors to find mates. The exception to this are the hunting spiders that stalk their prey visually and do not spin webs. This includes the wolf spiders and the jumping spiders. So, let's take a closer look at the jumping spider. They have large frontal eyes that watch you almost endearingly, but more likely they are sizing you up as a meal or a mate. In Australia, the tiny peacock jumping spider must have the most spectacular mating act of the entire spider repertoire. The family possesses a flexible abdomen that can be raised up like a peacock's feathers, showing off its colorful design. The males have iridescent hairs and paddles and fringe and other bizarre modifications that enhance their performance and wow the females into submission. They also use audible signals to attract a mate. But it's their dizzying disco moves and abdominal waggles that are enough to make any female spider swoon. Of course, just as in other spider species, the female may be fickle, and in that case, the male needs to preempt the fancy moves and jump to safety. What talent! Gentlemen, the takeaway from all this is learn to dance. No woman can resist. And it wouldn't hurt to invest in some fancy duds either, you know? Next question. Do all spiders manufacture silk? How is it used in attracting a mate? Well, of course all spiders are capable of producing silk, which they use in a variety of ways, as we saw earlier. Pheromones deposited along a web line can attract roaming male spiders to the waiting charms of a female consort. But when it comes to attracting a mate, it's more commonly used as a restraint to prevent potential mates from escaping or the chance to be eaten. Oh, that was very interesting. We must move on to the next question. I heard spiders are sexually kinky. In what ways? Goodness, if that last video wasn't kinky enough, then how about this one? New things are being discovered about spiders all the time. And now we shall move on to our last question. Do spiders mate for life? Spider males are more likely to mate for life than females, since they more often end up a post-coital meal. Oh my. Now, females can live to bear more young and mate with more males for life. Cruel twist of irony, no? But females are not exempt. They also can be eaten by their consorts. So let's take a look at two golden orb spiders in the throes of passion. Here we have a couple of golden orb spiders. The female is on the left, the male is on the right. After many, many minutes of touchy-feely, back away, touchy-feely, back away from the male spider, I had to trim the video down to where the action started. You see, the male finally makes his move, lunging into the female, who is caught by surprise, but doesn't seem to resist the nuptial embrace of her suitor. However, a keen eye can observe that the female spinnerets are actively engaged, and silk is coming out, though it's hard to see where it is going since her abdomen faces away from us. This is where her spinnerets are on this end. Her head is up here. These are her legs and his legs, and I couldn't tell you whose is whose. But keep a watch in this area. You will notice suddenly white jets of silk coming out of her spinnerets. Now, this looks like a period of inactivity, presumably because the male is exercising his manhood by inseminating her. However, you can see that her spinnerets are actively engaged, and she is pulling strands of silk up around the male. And as it appears that the lady has surrendered to his charms, you can tell that even though they are tranquil at the moment, she suddenly activates her spinnerets and pulls them up over the male. And now she is wrapping him up, rendering him a seal meal supper for later. Oh my. So it pretty much boils down to survival of the fittest and the quickest. Well, I hope you enjoyed, if not been horrified by today's episode of Spiderly Speaking. I'd like to leave you with this picture gallery of spider genitalia in all of its amazing diversity and complexity. And remember, you only fear what you don't know. Hopefully, you know spiders a little better now.